Amazon. Ask for A Rebel's Journey wherever books are sold or visit arebelsjourney.com. UPI reports White House advisor Ivanka Trump says her use of a private email account for official business is much different than that of former diplomat Hillary Clinton. Trump was scrutinized last week after a watchdog cited use of her private account while serving as a presidential aide. The group said she'd corresponded with Trump cabinet officials, including Education Secretary Betsy DeVos, Small Business Administration Chief Linda McMahon, and Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross, using her private email account. Ivanka Trump told ABC News, "All of my emails are stored and preserved. There were no deletions. There is no attempt to hide. There's no equivalency to what my father's spoken about." Ivanka added, "There's no restriction of using personal email. In fact, we're instructed that if we receive an email to our personal account that we could relate to government work, you simply forward it to your government account so it can be archived." Zencash is now Horizon. Horizon is a privacy platform built on zero-knowledge technology with a decentralized secure node architecture. The Horizon platform enables real-life uses beyond currency, including the ability to privately chat with other people. Soon, Horizon will enable you to publish information and go anywhere on the web, all with complete privacy. Horizon, bringing privacy to life. Learn more at horizon.global. HORIZEN.global. Reuters reports a Hawaii man who had a heart attack after a false alert about an incoming ballistic missile flashed on cell phones in January has sued the state, accusing it of negligence in the incident that panicked thousands of people. James Sean Shields was driving to the beach with his girlfriend on the morning of Saturday, January 13th, when the state flashed out alerts to cell phones across the island stating, "Ballistic missile threat inbound to Hawaii, seek immediate shelter, this is not a drill." The message came at a time of rising tensions between the U.S. and North Korea, which had claimed it had developed a ballistic missile that could reach the U.S. mainland. The message sent thousands of island residents into a panic search for shelter before the Hawaii Emergency Management Agency recalled the message half an hour later, saying it had been sent in error. Shields and his girlfriend filed the lawsuit in the state's First Circuit Court on Tuesday. The lawsuit states in part, they decided there was not much they could do to protect themselves from this threat and decided if they were going to die, they might as well die together on the beach. The lawsuit seeks unspecified financial damages. Soon after phone calls to say goodbye to his loved ones, including his son and daughter on the U.S. mainland, Shields felt pain and a burning in his chest. The couple rushed to a hospital where Shields' heart stopped soon after arrival and faltered again after cardiopulmonary resuscitation. He underwent emergency surgery to save his life. The state's attorney general did not respond to a request for comment about the lawsuit. An investigation found the employee who had sent the alert had mistaken an alert drill for an actual attack. That employee was later fired. You can support FPP Radio by joining the Fans program. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Saying that he has no idea what to make of the mixed signals, area man Pete Summers told reporters today he keeps getting ambiguous text messages from local woman Haley Mueller, claiming that she's not at all interested in him.
One minute she's like, I don't want to go out with you. And then she'll mention how she has to go hang out with her boyfriend. I mean, what am I supposed to do with that?
Summers, who first met Mueller at a friend's party last month, informed reporters that the 27-year-old's increasingly perplexing text messages have left him unable to ascertain whether or not she would want to date him. He also noted that Mueller's behavior at social gatherings was equally vague.
Last weekend, we were at a party, and every time I would go up to her, she just said, "Leave me alone." Then I text her the next day, and she totally doesn't even respond. I mean, she just needs to make up her mind and tell me what she wants. She hasn't answered my last 3 phone calls, so maybe I should go over there and make sure everything's okay.
This is the Onion News Network.
This is Free Talk Live. We'll give you the toll-free call-in lines here momentarily, where you can call in and join us and bring up whatever is on your mind. The us in studio tonight is Darryl,
Chris.
And Chris, you've got an interesting story we're not going to get into right this moment, but interesting story about the United States Postal Service.
They're in a busy season, and it's really good to know that they had such a boom year last year. I think a lot of it was the Amazon deal. I mean, that was huge. I mean, and they were talking about how this was like record breaking for the post office.
Oh, it probably broke some records, and then they probably broke somebody's Christmas lamp and a vase and a bunch of other stuff. We'll actually get into what that story is, but let's go to another government agency. And yes, the post office, despite them telling you that they're private, they're a government agency. Let's go to the Veterans Affairs Department.
I'm a veteran.
You are.
I am.
Let me ask this question before I get into the article here. Do you have much experience with the VA?
Enough. Yeah, I don't take advantage of VA health benefits yet or anything like that, but yeah, I've dealt with the VA for home loans and for some various things over the years.
Did you ever use the GI Bill?
I did not. So that was an optional program. I knew that I really did not have an intent to go into college following that, even though it is a heck of a deal.
Yep. And as I understand it, and correct me if I'm wrong, the GI benefits could also be used for a trade school, so it doesn't have to go for a 4 or 6 year thing. Like you could go to a tech school if you wanted.
You
right?
could. And it was interesting because when you talk about the money, and I'm going to go back to 1982 years, 1982 years. But back then, if you put away the maximum that the government would match, you could have ended up with something like, I think it was about $45,000 to go to school on. And in 1982, that was pretty much a big amount of money.
That would have covered basically any 4-year college.
Right.
Basically, obviously your Ivy Leagues are going to be a little out of range there.
Yeah.
But I remember even when I graduated high school in 96, $45,000, $50,000 would have covered the bulk of a 4-year education.
Yeah. And in some cases, it could have covered the entire thing. What was interesting about how the VA programs work for education, the GI Bill, you don't have to use all that money just to pay your tuition and pay for books. So if you came out with $60,000 room and board,
incidentals,
you just
I need food.
As long as you were able to tell them and prove to them that you were enrolled full time in college, then you just got that money.
Yep.
And that was as it was explained to me by a recruiter. So your mileage may vary.
Yeah, recruiters are encouraged to exaggerate.
They are,
shall we say? Now let's actually jump into what the news is from NBC. They say for weeks, student veterans across the country have raised an alarm about delayed or incorrect GI Bill benefit payments, which the Department of Veterans Affairs has blamed on computers.
Oh.
But on Wednesday, the department told congressional staffers that it would not reimburse those veterans who were paid less than they were owed, according to 2 committee aides.
Hold on. Less than they were owed.
Yes.
So, Darryl, you don't want to get pedantic on the terms of owed?
Let me explain these 2 paragraphs again.
Go ahead.
There's some students that wound up saying, hey, VA, you gave us incorrect payment here. You were supposed to give us this. You gave us this smaller amount.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, computer error. But we're not making up the difference to you.
Who can really understand computers?
You're supposed to get $1,000 for this month.
We gave
you $700. Just go ahead and eat that $300 loss because computers
are bad. Whoops.
Oops, computers. But we're not making it up to you because it wasn't our fault. Computer.
Unbelievable.
The news conflicts with a promise that VA officials made to a House committee earlier in the month that it would reimburse those veterans who received less than the full amount that they were due. According to the aides, however, the VA said it could not make retroactive payments without auditing its previous education claims, which it said would delay future claims. The aides asked not to be identified because they were not authorized to speak to the media.
Oh, boy.
NBC News previously reported that some veterans were forced into desperate financial straits stemming from a change in calculating housing allowances under the Forever GI Bill, which President Donald Trump signed into law in July 2017. When the VA computers were unable to process that change, the VA quickly faced a backlog of veterans' claims 3 times higher than normal. Because of those issues, the VA has announced on Wednesday that it would delay the Forever GI Bill housing allowance changes until December 2019. And again, promised that retroactive payments would be made to those who did not receive a correct amount, but VA officials told congressional staffers in a telephone call on Wednesday morning that once the system is made right next year, they will not make retroactive payments to those who were underpaid because of housing miscalculations.
God.
Can you wrap your head around this, Chris?
If anybody entered into a contract, any company entered into a contract promising something, because the GI Bill, as I understand it, and I assume it's still this way, it involves a contribution by the soldier, by the service member, and a matching portion from the government. So I don't know how you slice it. You're in breach of contract. You know what I mean? You did not agree to the terms under which this person entered.
It would be akin to, and I'm probably going to make a bad analogy here, so please feel free, call in 855-450-FREE. But if it is one of these things that you're saying to where the soldier makes a contribution and then the Army says, all right, we're matching that, and then we'll pay you out later, it would be akin to if I have an employee matched 401k.
Sure.
And they're supposed to match, dollar for dollar up to, say, 5%.
Right. Whatever it happens to be.
And I'm putting in 5%, and their computer has an error, and they're only matching 3%. And then they say, oh, sorry, our computer goofed up, but we can't retroactively make good because then that would wind up causing problems with future matches. So, you're just screwed on that 2% for however long.
They could say that the government has set a precedent where this is allowed under law, that you don't have to pay that anymore because Department of Veterans Affairs just screwed a bunch of soldiers out of a bunch of money. So,
I thought it was settled when the pensioners that wound up getting shot for marching on Washington. I thought the precedent was set back then.
There you go.
That we don't actually have to pay you what in the blue hell we say we're going to pay you.
Right. Yeah. It's horrible.
Yeah. The precedent had been set a long time ago. They're just, they're not acknowledging that as the reasons. They're just saying, oh, yeah, computer errors. We're going to make good, but no, we're not.
Unbelievable.
The aide told NBC News, again, they're essentially going to ignore the law and say that the change only goes forward from December 2019. The reason the VA decided that it would not make retroactive payments is because it would have to audit all of its previous education claims prior to December 2019, meaning the VA would potentially have to inspect 2 million claims.
Ooh, the A word. The A word is something that cannot be said in terms of the defense. Darryl, shh.
Audit.
Quiet. Shh.
Oh, remember the one that they just failed recently where they said, yeah, we knew we weren't going to pass?
Right.
Audit. I'll say it again. Audit. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. This is Free Talk Live. Audit all the things.
From the third letter of Captain Mark. The Crown's observation conditions us to be dishonest with ourselves. Therefore, constant surveillance produces a society of constant deception. Honest communication is the seed of civilized conduct. To deny us this seed is to deny us its fruits. But the Crown's primary objective is to stifle free thought itself, to make its subjects incapable of dissent. Seasoned pirates have always encrypted messages and codes and ciphers, so intercepted transmissions were incomprehensible. But today, the Crown possesses advanced tools of pattern recognition that document, profile, and predict our every move. Today, piracy requires hailing frequencies completely invisible to the Crown. We are tired of poltergeists in the static. Looking for a community of like-minded scoundrels, or just want some swag to let the Crown know what you think of it? Join the conversation at pirateswithoutborders.com.
Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it is now easier than ever to get the gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com, pick the gift card you want, follow the instructions on your screen, and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com.
When do you want to spot that burglar? When he's casing your home or after he's in? Ask John, whose Blink camera alerted him of burglars trying to break in while his family was home. Or Shannon, whose Blink camera caught a thief stealing packages. Blink motion-activated cameras are wire-free, set up in minutes, and run on 2 AA batteries that last up to 2 years. Blink camera systems make great holiday gifts. So visit blinkprotect.com/holiday. blinkprotect.com/holiday. Blink is an Amazon company. The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. You are free to call in and talk live with us and bring up whatever is on your mind. The us in studio tonight is Darryl.
And Chris.
And right now we're talking about the VA. And Chris, it's an agency that you said that you've had very minimal experience with. You did serve in the military, but you don't go to them for all of your primary care needs.
No, I just really...
And I think that's the thing that most people, when they hear VA, they think specifically of the hospitals. They don't think about VA overseeing all kinds of
veterans,
benefits.
Yeah, home loans, education, all kinds of other things. Burials, it's all kinds of stuff. Life insurance policies. When my father passed away a few years back, he had a VA life insurance policy from like 1950 something.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, we had to deal with the VA for that.
Right.
It's crazy stuff. So, they are they're always there. They are. And I understand a lot of veterans see it as a valuable resource. It gives them an alternative for health care and a choice for, compared to paying out of pocket or joining Obamacare or something like that. But the VA management of the healthcare system has been horrible too. And, I haven't spoke with any of my buddies about how well it's doing now. And they didn't ever really say that there were a lot of problems in this area, but there was a long string there where veterans were dying because they weren't getting seen. They were getting delayed months and months and months for serious illnesses.
So what's going on now with the VA is apparently there have been a lot of veterans that have been getting incorrect GI Bill benefit payments. Now, I'm guessing that, and Chris, you said that you never actually used the GI Bill, but it sounds as though it's one of those things if you pay out of pocket and then send in receipts and then you get reimbursed, something
that's how it was
kind
set
of
up.
Like that.
Yeah, when I was in, that's how it worked.
Yep, and they've been getting the wrong amount sent to them, and the VA originally said, we'll make it up, and then they turned around and said, oh, no, we can't because that would wind up triggering an audit.
Can't have those. Darryl, it's just, you can't audit the Pentagon. They've told you this over and over and over for years.
Well, they just did audit the Pentagon, and the Pentagon failed.
Right, and how long did it take for them to even agree to an audit?
Well, the law requiring audits of all government agencies, federal government agencies, was passed in 1990.
Okay.
And the audit was finished like 3 weeks ago. So you do the math.
So it takes almost
28 years, give or take 5 months.
Yeah, almost 30 years to complete an audit of one federal agency.
The NBC, well, we could nitpick that because there have been other federal agencies that got audited much faster. But NBC News here says the reason the VA decided that it would not make retroactive payments is because it would have to audit all previous education claims made prior to December 2019, meaning that the VA would potentially have to inspect 2 million claims. Oh, how dare somebody wind up, actually doing accurate bookkeeping and then verifying the books?
Right. I mean, you don't think that there are other... How about insurance companies? Insurance companies process millions and millions and millions of claims every year.
Yeah.
And they audit. You audit to make sure that you're paying things out right.
But being a government agency means never having to say audit.
That's true. That's basically what this comes down to.
VA officials said this could cause further delays in processing future claims, according to the aides, who, again, spoke on the condition of anonymity because they were not authorized to speak to the media. This would be an issue that caused some veterans to suffer earlier in the year. While this decision could mean that the agency is flouting the law because it would not provide the correct amount of money to student veterans as required by 2 sections of the Forever GI Bill, the VA told the congressional staffers that they have a legal justification that would allow them to move forward with this decision. However, they didn't share that justification with anyone in Congress. Could you imagine for a moment that you're in court for anything, just driving without a license, speeding, busted out tail light, and you tell the judge, I've got a really good reason for why this happened.
Okay. It is... Okay, I don't even have one on top of my head, but you offer that reason.
Oh, no, you don't. They didn't tell the reason. So you never tell the judge.
Oh, exactly. There's a reason.
I've got a really good reason. I just can't tell you because, secrets.
In this, we'll just say it has to do with computers.
Yeah.
And that should get you off the hook.
When asked for comment, a VA spokesman did not address the issue directly. Instead, he reiterated that the agency would delay paying housing allowances in accordance with the new Forever GI Bill until the spring term of 2020. And instead pay housing allowances based on the Department of Defense's older basic housing allowance rates. Attempting to implement the law would, quote, put an enormous administrative burden for schools in which some 35,000 certifying officials would have to track retroactively and recertify hundreds of thousands of enrollment documents.
Alice, can you pull all the VA loan payments we had? Great. Thanks. I know you're able to look that up in the new database we had installed a couple years ago. Can you print out a report and send that to the VA? Sure. You should have that in about a half hour.
Kurdish Cash Hour VA spokesman said via email that students who were overpaid because of the law's changes or because of issues in implementing the law will not be held liable for the debt. So, that's good. They're not going to, hey, sorry, you were supposed to get $1,000 and we cut you a $1,200 check. We're not going to make you give us the $200 back, but you were supposed to get $1,200 and you got $900. Yeah, we're not making good the $300 because legal reasons. We just can't explain what those are.
Let me throw this out there. I'm going to say a few things. I'm just going to rattle them off. Risk adjustment and medical records reviews, medical advantage, Medicaid and commercial audits. 20 Q1 2015 to 4Q 2015, Medicare Advantage Risk Adjustable Data Validation, RADV, annual at CMS's discretion, Health Efficiency Data and Information Set, HEDIS reviews, 1 quarter through 2 quarter, Diagnostic Relationship Group, DRG, payment integrity reviews ongoing throughout the year, care and quality improvement audits ongoing throughout the year, 5-star program, Medicare Advantage ongoing through the year. All that stuff I just rattled off are the 6 healthcare type audits that every single hospital in the United States must go through every year.
Yeah.
So those are 6 in-depth audits that the government is expecting the private sector to do just in one tiny microcosm of our economy. And you guys can't audit yourselves?
But, Chris, they have very good legal justification.
It was the computers.
Very good legal justification. We're not going to tell you the justification, but trust me, it's very good.
It's a good one.
It's the best. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450 free.
The United States of Empire is a book that claims the United States is the empire of the world. George Washington had warned us against foreign wars. The United States of Empire shows that World Wars I and II left England broken. Its former colony, the U.S., had to save the empire. Was there ever a vote? Who do we fight for? The deep state began with World War I. The United States of Empire by James Dunn. Available at Amazon Books.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We're talking about the Veterans Affairs and specifically about the underpayments to veterans who should have been getting reimbursed for GI Bill stuff. Mm-hmm. And, well, apparently there was a computer error. And so because of that and some unspecified legal justification and, well, see, if we wind up, fixing things, and we would have to audit all of our records, the VA is not going to make good on what they have promised people. We'll get back into this story in just a second, but something that is audited at least once a year is liberty.menu. It's a directory of businesses that are run by liberty-minded individuals. There's also events, digital content, and more. And when I say that it's audited at least once a year, Chris, you had to do this not too long ago.
Yes, I did.
Where you get an email saying, please verify your business and update and renew for a year.
Or go back to the free plan, because you could do that too.
No.
Oh,
even with the free plan,
yeah.
Even with the free plan, you still have to verify that your business still exists. Otherwise, it gets wiped off because you don't want all of these businesses that closed down 5 years ago being listed, and then it's a bunk list, and why should anybody trust a bad list?
Right. Agreed.
Audits are good. And again, liberty.menu does one every year for every business. Listings can be rated and reviewed, and not just businesses. Again, digital content, events, and more. Listings can be rated and reviewed, kind of like on Yelp, and there's also a bit of a social networking aspect where you can connect and share with other users. Use of liberty.menu, however, is exclusively for individuals who reject the initiation of force and those who agree to abide by the ethics of the non-aggression principle. Put your voluntarist ideas into action at liberty.menu and use code FTL to get a special Free Talk Live listener badge. That's liberty.menu. So jumping back into this article here from NBC News, Again, Curtis Cashour, a spokesman for the VA, said that students who were overpaid would not be held liable for the difference. Again, they're not making good the people that they underpaid.
Right.
And I'm guessing that the number of people that were overpaid is probably very small. He did not, however, comment on those who were underpaid, and rampant confusion continues to surround the issue, as it is unknown how many students have been underpaid so far, how many more could potentially be underpaid because of changes to the law, and how much money these veterans are actually owed. Congressional aides described the situation as frustrating. One who commented on the shifting answers and constant confusion stemming from the VA asked, am I taking crazy pills? Undersecretary for Benefits Paul Lawrence is scheduled to testify Thursday morning before the House Committee on Veterans Affairs, and that actually was today, so we'll try to see if there's any news from that. Probably not. One of the committee aides said that the members of Congress will attempt to clear this issue up before they move forward with any hearings. The aide said they need to figure it out.
So let me break this down. If you're liberal and you don't really approve of the Pentagon and wars and think we spend too much money on all this, you should be really upset because here's the federal government just wasting money and not doing things efficiently. That should bother you. If you're a conservative and you think that our veterans should be taken care of and we should do whatever we promised them, you should be really upset because this is a case of the government not fulfilling its promises, basically pulling a slick willy on the soldiers.
No, it's more one of those things from the Star Wars of I changed the agreement, pray I don't change it even further. Like, that's exactly what this is.
Right.
To where it's a one-sided agreement. You can call it a contract all day long till you're blue in the face. It's not a contract if only one side can change it and then force the other side to do whatever.
Well, they don't force them. They just deny them any recourse. You have no recourse.
No, your recourse is if you wind up saying, I don't like these changes, I'm going home now, you wind up going to prison.
Well, possibly. In this case, I could...
If you go AWOL because they changed the agreement on you...
With that, I'm talking just specifically about this question of GI Bill rights.
Oh, I'm talking about the entire military.
Sure.
It's a one-sided agreement, and if you don't like a change they make, and you say, I'm going home now...
Well, that's part of joining the military. You should understand that everything they told you up front is subject to change.
You should understand that, but they don't tell you that. They don't tell people the truth. They lie to them. They manipulate them. There was a report that came out not too terribly long ago that said the low unemployment rate and the improved economy is hurting recruitment.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, why would anybody voluntarily take one of those jobs? The other thing is this country is getting war weary. Believe it or not, it only took almost 20 years of nonstop combat, hard combat. I'm not talking about a little skirmish where we go down to Grenada.
Right.
I mean, we're talking
You're
in
talking
the desert.
About boots on the ground in Afghanistan, the graveyard of empires.
Right. And in Iraq. And in the meantime, they're trying to come up with...
those are all advisors now.
Yeah, call it whatever you want. Tell that to a veteran that's been over there. They're not going to say they were there to advise.
Right.
They were saying they were there getting their ass shot at.
Right. And, mission accomplished was declared, 15 years ago now?
Something like that.
14, 15, give or take 6 months.
More than that. That was within the first year or two, wasn't it?
We'll look it up because I think the troops actually went into Iraq in 2003.
That may be the case, yeah.
Let's go to the phones. We've got Jim calling in from Phoenix. Jim, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts. Hello, Jim in Phoenix. You're on the radio. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Hello.
Let me put him on hold. I don't know if there's something wrong with his phone or if he just doesn't actually want to talk to us, even though he called in at 855-450-FREE.
Unreal. Yeah, I understand that. I guess I was pretty skeptical going into the military in the first place, and at least my recruiter was pretty clear on some of the things. Regardless of what job they say you're going to have and what you're going to go to school for when you get out of basic training, and this was in the Army, if, you were going to be a diesel mechanic and circumstances dictated that they needed you to be an 11 Bravo boots on the ground infantryman, then that was what you were going to do. That's it. Everything was put in those terms. My recruiter was very clear about what the Uniform Code of Military Justice means. He very clearly said the Constitution doesn't really apply to us.
Yeah.
And that's one of those things that you give up your rights when you join the military.
Just pulled up the invasion phase of the Iraq War began March 20th, 2003. Mission accomplished May 1st, 2003.
Yeah, I thought it was only like a month, and that was it. Mission accomplished.
Mission accomplished, but we still got to stay here indefinitely.
Right, and we still have troops.
John McCain said that, several years ago, before he got the brain cancer, said that he thought troops would stay in Iraq for 100 years or more.
Yeah.
Maybe forever.
Yeah. Oh, I don't doubt that. I mean, given the government's past history, and I'm going to say more recent history, the fact is we don't have to pay for these wars anymore.
Guantanamo, U.S. military's had a base there since 1898.
Yeah.
Still in the Philippines from the Spanish-American War.
Yeah.
Bunch of places.
Yeah.
Empire's just growing. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. 855-450-3733. Coming up, let's talk about the post office.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Do you operate a retail business and are looking for a solution for point-of-sale cryptocurrency acceptance? It's never been easier thanks to AnyPay.global. There's no paperwork or approval process to open an account. If you already have a tablet at your cash register, you're almost done. Just sign up at AnyPay.global, drop your personal crypto wallet addresses in our setup page, and then load our app. That's it. You're accepting cryptocurrency like Bitcoin and Dash at your store. Get started now at AnyPay.global. That's AnyPay.global.
What's in store this holiday at your local Staples?
Giving and receiving.
And receiving some more.
This year, give the job of printing your holiday cards to Staples, and you'll receive big savings.
And this week only, get 40% off custom holiday cards and invitations at Staples. Plus, when you spend $50 on custom printing, you'll receive a $15 print coupon.
So, happy holiday to you.
Staples. There's a whole lot in store this holiday.
Valid 11/22 to 12/1/18. Exclusions apply. In-store only. See associate for details.
Geico presents eyewitness interviews with inanimate objects.
This is Belinda Collins, live on the scene of a recent hailstorm. Here to describe the event, a football.
Bro, I was just hanging on the roof when this gnarly storm starts dropping baseball-sized hail. I mean, the shingles got beat up. A few windows looked broken. It was savage.
Did you do anything to help?
Nah, bro. I was in survival mode.
Your football can't help you in a hailstorm, but the Geico Insurance Agency can help you get covered for personal property damage. Call Geico to see how affordable homeowners insurance can be.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Are you tired of your taxes funding endless occupations around the world? Antiwar.com is run by people who understand that wars abroad become wars at home, wars on our freedoms. Antiwar.com is dedicated to bringing you the latest in news, views, interviews, and reviews from the top movers and shakers in the anti-occupation movement. Antiwar.com has it all, from thorough foreign policy analysis to interviews with whistleblowers who used to run the military-industrial complex. Anti-war, pro-free market. That's antiwar.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. Your calls and thoughts, welcome about whatever is on your mind. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. In studio tonight, it's Darryl.
And Chris.
And Chris, you've got a story about, well, I was going to say everybody's favorite government entity, but no, I don't think it's everybody's favorite. It's probably like top 100.
They don't really kill people. I'll give them that. It's not really a violent organization. Of course, I'm speaking about the post office. And this is one of those good news, bad news stories.
All right.
Well, the good news, Darryl, now that you asked,
is that the post office is now going to be open to competition, and I can restart the American Letter Mail Company?
Oh, no. We're not going that far. But what I am going to say is that they took in revenue in 2018's fiscal year.
Good. They took in some revenue.
They added $1 billion to the previous year's total, which was $70.7 billion. That's
all right.
Great.
So hold on. Let me do some math in my head.
Right.
And knowing that so this is fiscal year 2018?
2018.
All right. Fiscal year 2017, I think they only lost like $5.9 billion. So add an extra billion. They only lost $4.5 billion last year.
For the U.S. government's 2018 fiscal year, the U.S. Postal Service reports that it successfully boosted its annual revenue by $1 billion over the previous year of $70.7 billion, making a boom year for its mail and package delivery services. Unfortunately, it also spent about $3.9 billion more to provide those services than it took in during the year. A $1.2 billion increase over the loss it recorded in its 2017 fiscal year.
So they wound up doing better than I expected. I thought they had a $4.5 billion deficit. It was only 3.9. Congratulations. Yeah. Have a cookie.
Quote, if that doesn't sound like a success, this isn't a quote, if that doesn't sound like a success, that's because it isn't.
It's not.
Which is why the editors of Investors Business Daily are calling for the nation's postal service to be privatized.
How about we just eliminate the government monopoly that the post office has on the delivery of first-class mail?
I'm going to comment on that, but I want to read this first. By its own admission, this is what the Investors Business Daily is saying. By its own admission, the post office is doomed. Buried deep in its 10K government filing in this bleak statement, quote, existing laws and regulations limit our ability to introduce new products or services, enter into new markets, generate new revenue streams, or manage our cost structure, it said. Imagine a private company telling its investors that. This can't go on. Privatization is the only viable option. The White House last summer proposed to do just that by either selling off the post office or bringing in private managers to run it. At least a profitable postal service. I'm sorry, I lost my page there.
I'm still trying to visualize this hypothetical thing called a profitable post office.
At least a profitable company that can sell its shares to investors, manage costs, and hire and fire workers, and expand and close lines of business would have a chance. Today's U.S. Postal Service doesn't. How bad is it? The IBD editors cite reporting by Reason's Eric Boehm to justify its call. Quote, far from being an aberration, fiscal year 2018, which ended on September 30th, is a sign of things to come. Without changing how it operates, the USPS will continue to post losses at, quote, an accelerating rate, unquote. Postmaster General Megan Brennan tells Government Executive, that's a magazine, quote, simply put, we cannot generate revenue or cut enough costs to pay our bills, she says. What is really stunning is that the USPS managed to lose so much money in a year when income from shipping packages jumped by 10% and overall revenue increased by 1.5%. That it wasn't enough to make up for the increase of $896 million in personnel costs. And that's what's really driving this. What's driving that increase is in personnel costs at the post office, the same factor that has driven dozens of cities and counties into bankruptcy proceedings when they can no longer count on being able to tax their way into the black, the pension and health benefits it provides to each of its retired government employees.
Well, on top of that, like the pension and all of the benefits, that's just sort of like an extra layer on top of the unionized employees that wind up, just constantly getting a COLA adjustment.
Well, no, it is that. I'm not discounting that, but I'm saying they would not have the benefits and health benefits and all that stuff that's been negotiated by the postal unions with, I guess, us, the taxpayer. Did you get a chance to sit down in those negotiations and offer your 2 cents?
No, just like I don't have the opportunity when the school teachers union winds up going into negotiations with the school board, who is ostensibly there to represent me.
Right.
But yet every year they wind up saying, no, we just have to wind up raising the budget another percent or two.
Yeah. And this is the same thing. And that is the problem. We talk about, and this is why private companies, the unions have just been decimated. They aren't needed anymore.
Right.
There are not such dangerous places and unfair employers that most companies end up unionizing. It doesn't happen. But in the public sector, that's where you have actual laws that allow these guys to unionize.
Right.
And this is the real problem.
Not only allow them to unionize, but really what happens in most places, let's say that 50% of the people say, I want a union.
Yep.
And then the other 50% say, I don't want one, but, like one more than whatever majority, simple majority says, we want a union. Then you've got a union. And then everybody has to join the union.
Right. And that's
so it's not a union for only those that want the union.
No.
It's a union for everybody, even the people that don't want it. And then the supposed solution is, well, just quit. Well, what if I was working there before the union was created? Yeah. I could understand the thing of if there's a union at fill-in-the-blank location, you don't have to take the job there.
Right.
But if you were there before the union exists, you shouldn't have to quit your job because, a group of thugs came in and created a union.
Right. So this story touches on a lot of different things. It touches on U.S. labor law. I mean, and that is such a big part of this.
Right. And again, I'm still stuck on the postal monopoly where it's only the United States Postal Service that can deliver first-class mail.
Well, I'm not so stuck on. I understand exactly what you're saying, but the money anymore isn't in first class mail. It's not. It's in package delivery, and it's in overnight services and things like that, which they're now competing in.
Right.
And doing very well at, but not well enough to overcome the massive costs they're facing from pensions and from ongoing health care. Health care for the rest of people's lives.
Right. But if the junk mail companies had to pay an actual free market rate on sending you junk mail, you would have a lot less of it.
Oh, yeah. And it would no longer be... it just wouldn't be a profitable way to advertise, but that's not even necessarily true. So I was talking to my mailman about this. I'm like, he's like, well, the problem is, first of all, he correctly identified the unionization, which he belongs to.
Yep,
he has no choice. He says that's the first thing. He said, secondly, Congress would never ever let us shut down unprofitable routes. What if they're, we've got some backwoods areas. My house is practically backwoods.
Right.
What if we just said we're not doing mail delivery to the door at your house anymore?
There are towns, and I know they exist, where they don't take mail to everybody's house. You go to the post office and pick it up.
We never had mail delivery.
You still
where
have
I
a physical address of, 1313 Mockingbird Lane.
Right. But I have to pay for it.
But no. You have that address because of the 911. You're required to have a physical mailing address.
No.
But all of the mail gets held at the post office.
See, but even with that, don't you still have to pay for a post office box?
No.
Really?
As I understand it, if it's the thing of we don't do postal delivery.
But the deal is that the post office should be free to say this is no longer profitable and we're not having that service.
Right.
If you expect them to actually be profitable.
Yeah. There's not a free market. That's a huge problem, and everything else is symptoms. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. 855-450-3733.
Financial risk. It is not suitable for all investors.
Marijuana has unleashed a green gold rush across our nation. It's creating $10.8 billion in new wealth a year. And every day, it's transforming more and more Americans into millionaires. Former Speaker of the House John Boehner reveals how you could become one of them. Join him online for the American Cannabis Summit. Attendance is 100% free, but space is limited. Join online at www.acs2018.com. John Boehner and an esteemed panel will reveal which cannabis stocks are primed to deliver life-changing windfalls. Plus, they will show you how to become a cannabis angel investor, backing the hottest startups before they potentially become worth billions of dollars.
To join the American Cannabis Summit, visit acs2018.com or text JOIN to 76280. Don't miss this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Text JOIN to 76280. Text JOIN to 76280 now.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene, the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Thursday, November 29th, 2018. Silver is trading at $14.34 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,226 per ounce. Zen is trading at $7, and the average price of Bitcoin is $4,300. Antiwar.com reports in a 63-37 vote on Wednesday, the U.S. Senate agreed to a full floor debate of a bill challenging the legality of the U.S. involvement in the Yemen war. The legal challenge is built around Congress having never authorized the U.S. to join such a war. Wednesday's pre-vote effort saw Secretaries of State and Defense Mike Pompeo and James Mattis taking senators to a closed-door classified briefing that was aimed to cover both the Yemen war and mounting concerns about U.S. relationship with Saudi Arabia. All indications are that the briefings failed, with Senator Chris Coons coming out of the briefing saying he was now opposed to the war. Senator Bob Menendez, a former supporter of the war, had also changed sides, as had several others. Senator Jack Reed has also said he supports the bill to end the war. This mounting Senate support suggests the bill itself is very likely to pass, although it may ultimately stall in the House of Representatives, where a recent effort at a War Powers Act challenge to the war was derailed in favor of a wolf hunting measure. In 1999, Darryl W. Perry began a search for traditional values, which led him down a path to the ideas of liberty. He tells the story in A Rebel's Journey, My Path to Liberty. Of the book, Dr. Brian Sovereign says, "Sometimes it's funny, and sometimes I think it's crazy, but it's always authentic." Find A Rebel's Journey, My Path to Liberty by Darryl W. Perry on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, ask for A Rebel's Journey wherever books are sold, or visit arebelsjourney.com. UPI reports White House advisor Ivanka Trump says her use of a private email account for official business is much different than that of former diplomat Hillary Clinton. Trump was scrutinized last week after a watchdog cited use of her private account while serving as a presidential aide. The group said she'd corresponded with Trump cabinet officials, including Education Secretary Betsy DeVos, Small Business Administration Chief Linda McMahon, and Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross, using her private email account. Ivanka Trump told ABC News, "All of my emails are stored and preserved. There were no deletions, there is no attempt to hide, there's no equivalency to what my father's spoken about." Ivanka added, "There's no restriction of using personal email. In fact, we're instructed that if we receive an email to our personal account that we could relate to government work, you simply forward it to your government account so it can be archived." Zencash is now Horizon. Horizon is a privacy platform built on zero-knowledge technology with a decentralized secure node architecture. The Horizon platform enables real-life uses beyond currency, including the ability to privately chat with other people. Soon, Horizon will enable you to publish information and go anywhere on the web, all with complete privacy. Horizon, bringing privacy to life. Learn more at horizon.global. HORIZEN.global. Reuters reports a Hawaii man who had a heart attack after a false alert about an incoming ballistic missile flashed on cell phones in January has sued the state, accusing it of negligence in the incident that panicked thousands of people. James Sean Shields was driving to the beach with his girlfriend on the morning of Saturday, January 13th, when the state flashed out alerts to cell phones across the island stating, "Ballistic missile threat inbound to Hawaii, seek immediate shelter, this is not a drill." The message came at a time of rising tensions between the U.S. and North Korea, which had claimed it had developed a ballistic missile that could reach the U.S. mainland. The message sent thousands of island residents into a panic search for shelter before the Hawaii Emergency Management Agency recalled the message half an hour later, saying it had been sent in error. Shields and his girlfriend filed the lawsuit in the state's First Circuit Court on Tuesday. The lawsuit states in part, they decided there was not much they could do to protect themselves from this threat and decided if they were going to die, they might as well die together on the beach. The lawsuit seeks unspecified financial damages. Soon after phone calls to say goodbye to his loved ones, including his son and daughter on the U.S. mainland, Shields felt pain and a burning in his chest. The couple rushed to a hospital where Shields' heart stopped soon after arrival and faltered again after cardiopulmonary resuscitation. He underwent emergency surgery to save his life. The state's attorney general did not respond to a request for comment about the lawsuit. An investigation found the employee who had sent the alert had mistaken an alert drill for an actual attack. That employee was later fired. You can support FPP Radio by joining the Fans program. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
After years of weekly meetings with his psychologist, local man Chris Vaughn told reporters today he was excited to only have 2 sessions left before completely resolving all of his emotional issues and never having the need to return to another therapy session again.
When I started therapy, I knew if I could make it through exactly 120 50-minute sessions with Dr. Warner, then all of my issues with depression and crippling anxiety would be gone. Next week we're covering my parents, The week after that, we're wrapping up my trust issues, and then I should be good to go.
According to Vaughn, it took 40 sessions alone to fully resolve his feelings of inadequacy and low self-esteem resulting from an unhappy childhood. Vaughn's therapist, Dr. Susan Warner, told Onion reporters that she's pleased with her patient's progress and relieved that his long-time emotional and cognitive issues are nearly solved for good.
I told him that getting healthy would take at least 100 hours of therapy, and now he'll never have to see me again. Thank God for that. That guy was a real piece of work.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Your calls and thoughts welcome about whatever is on your mind. In studio, it's Darryl.
And Chris.
And we've been talking about the post office and their record-breaking numbers.
They did. They broke they added $1 billion to their sales for the year. That's great.
And also, I think the article you have said they also added $1 billion to their deficit.
Yeah.
Where
so
they
their
only
deficit,
lost $3.9 billion last year.
Yes. There's a word for this. What's a... Unsustainable. That's the word I'm looking for. Yeah. Here's a little tip. If you go into business and you're losing $3.9 billion a year, it seems like you'd have to have an awful lot of billions to continue to operate.
If you're losing fill in the blank dollars per year, whether it's, $3.9 thousand, $3.9 million, $3.9, any kind of loss of that level, year after year after year.
Right.
Again, any level, $3.9 thousand a year.
Sure.
If you keep losing that, at some point you're running out of money.
Well, that depends. That depends on how well financed you are. Do you have the opportunities to go out and sell more stock? Are you telling a story that investors will buy into? No. There are lots of companies.
Hold on. If you've got $10 million in the bank.
Yes. If you have a fixed level of capital behind you.
And you lose money every year, at some point,
$1 million
you will run out of money.
Yes, that is true. But there's a lot of companies, a lot of businesses that you and I shop all the time.
Amazon.
Route 101 local goods that are going to lose money for a certain period of time before they begin to become profitable.
Right. Amazon.
Amazon's a great example of that. I mean, it was a decade before they turned a profit. Maybe longer than that.
Yeah.
Till 2013.
It was just a couple of years ago.
Yeah. And here we look at Amazon as this, amazing success story. Most of that time, they were losing money hand over fist.
Yeah.
And today we have Elon Musk and Tesla, and every other project that he's involved with, except for spaceflight, because you and I pay for that through government subsidies. But yes, you're right. At some point, you either have to have the ability to raise additional capital to keep your money going or keep your business going, or you don't. And then you go out of business. And this is what this article is basically talking about. And the fact that they've got this increase in personnel costs that will never stop the way their current model is. Right. The problem is they're required to give these benefits and retirement by Congress.
Right. And you mentioned that Congress not allowing the post office to get rid of unprofitable routes, not allowing them to close unprofitable locations,
not allowed to increase the price of a stamp.
Oh, no, they're doing that by 10% next year. Congress said that they could.
Right, because Congress said that they could, but they can't. They can't
do anything without congressional approval, but they want you to believe that somehow they're an independent
They are
agency.
Independent. As Reason has been arguing for at least 50 years, the Postal Service should be privatized and subject to competition. There's a chance that might actually happen. A White House report released in June that highlights the possible privatization of government services include two options for reforming the USPS. One idea would have private managers take over running the USPS with the government maintaining oversight responsibility. Bad idea.
That would not really be private.
The second proposal would have the post office sold in its entirety. A sale would likely require changes and restructurings to first net a profit and would probably require the federal government to absorb the current debts. Still,
that's what's happening anyway.
Exactly. Still, it could net a windfall to help pay off the service's massive liabilities. The Cornell economist Richard Geddes has found that a USPS IPO could raise $40 billion.
Who would buy stock in that?
Depends on who bought it.
I say, realizing that people still buy U.S. savings bonds, which are basically buying stock in the United States federal government.
Right. But if the right managers, the right money guys came in and said, you know what, I think we can make a run of this, I'd listen. Compared to, we're going to trust Congress with every decision we make, and we're going to pay pensions and health care for eternity.
I don't trust Congress, but I would sit and laugh at somebody saying that they could make the post office profitable. We'll continue with the story here in a moment, but let's go to the phones. We've got Dave calling in from New Hampshire. Dave, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Gentlemen, I wanted to let you know that one of the NH Exit activists has been injured. His name
For
is,
people that have never heard of NH Exit, what is that real quick?
It's just a secessionist movement, one of many in the U.S.
All right.
We've gotten a fair amount of publicity, so we're not as well known as the California one, but we're on the list.
Good.
But Russell Roberts was at our first demonstration in 2016, which happened the week of the Brexit, and it got so much attention. And I think he's been to 2 others since then. We haven't had that many demonstrations, so he's been to most of them. But anyway, I guess he was driving home, or biking home from work or biking to work, and he got someone hit him with a car, like a hit and run.
Wow.
And I guess shattered his elbow, and so he has, a substantial medical bill. This didn't happen very recently, but I guess it was a couple months ago. And,
so is there a GoFundMe or something that you're trying to help him out with, or you just wanted people to know that there was an activist that got injured?
There is something along those lines. Actually, the best thing to do is probably to just find him on Facebook. If you just search Russell Roberts, New Hampshire on Facebook, then you can find him and just contact him. He's got a PayPal. He can accept a donation from you, and he told me it was okay to mention that. He did give me his email address, but I don't think he would want me to give that out over the air.
Yeah, don't give that out over the air. Dave, thank you for the call. Definitely keep us... Yep, go ahead.
The other thing you could do is just contact me. You can contact him through me if you want at RidleyReport.com.
Nice.
Got it. Excellent, Dave. And keep us posted on how he winds up recovering. Thank you for the call. Yeah, so, never good to hear about somebody, getting hit by a car, but, it seems like something not really sure what we can do.
Yeah, but that's the nice thing about societies, is they don't need to wait for somebody to tell them to do the right thing. People will band together and donate money and help people out. That's really cool.
Yeah. Let's get back into this USPS thing.
Yeah, and we hit most of it. And basically they're reiterating that if there were a change, that the report that the White House put out could go in one of 2 directions. Trying to basically reform what's there by having private managers run the existing government post office.
How would that be different than the supposed independent post office being run with congressional oversight?
Well, in theory, here's how government would work. They would look to...
we just hire a new manager who is also supposedly independent, but...
Right, we
answers completely to Congress, just like the current guy that answers completely to Congress.
No, you hire a bunch of guys from American Express and UPS and places like that. Not American Express, but FedEx. And you bring those in, you put them in charge. And then when they come in to testify on bills, they can testify on bills that are favorable to UPS and for FedEx and slightly to... That's how this works. It's sort of like the FDA.
Yeah.
So, I just,
but the FDA is not supposedly an independent agency. Everybody knows that it's a agency of the federal government.
Right.
The other option here is let's just auction stuff off.
Just sell the whole thing.
All right. I got 50 cents for one of the trucks sitting down at the post office.
Oh, well, one of those cool old Jeeps. That would be great.
Yeah. I bid 50 cents. How's that?
No, it's going to take a while for us
Think that gets me a lug nut?
Maybe.
Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450 free. That's 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live. We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it is now easier than ever to get the gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com, pick the gift card you want, follow the instructions on your screen, and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com.
When do you want to spot that burglar? When he's casing your home or after he's in? Ask John, whose Blink camera alerted him of burglars trying to break in while his family was home. Or Shannon, whose Blink camera caught a thief stealing packages. Blink motion-activated cameras are wire-free, set up in minutes, and run on 2 AA batteries that last up to 2 years. Blink camera systems make great holiday gifts. So visit blinkprotect.com/holiday. blinkprotect.com/holiday. Blink is an Amazon company.
Hi, I'm Clint Webb, and I'm running for Senate. I have a short cropped haircut, a pretty enough yet accessible looking wife, and a newborn baby that I've dressed in a suit to prove to you that I mean business. For the last 15 years, I've lived my life in such a bland, uncontroversial, and repressed manner that it's almost unnatural. Why? Because I've been preparing to be a representative since I was a child. Most well-adjusted, sane men would be hesitant to take a job where their decisions would so drastically affect the lives of so many. But not me. I possess a sort of sociopathic narcissism that makes me think that I should be in charge of everyone. But all of that needs to start here at home, in this beautiful state that I've grown to love since I moved here 18 months ago. Together, we can piggyback some of our state's legitimate needs onto my unquenchable lust for self-glorification. And that's a promise.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Juicy Juice, 100% juice, providing a full serving of fruit in every 4 ounces. Visit us at juicyjuice.com. When it comes to nutrition, kids need both fruits and vegetables every day to stay healthy and grow. For the ideal mix, your kid should have at least 1.5 cups of any veggie or 100% veggie juice, and 1 cup of any fruit or 100% fruit juice a day. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. That's how you can call in and join us and bring up whatever is on your mind. The us in studio tonight is Darryl.
And Chris.
And there's also the Discord call-in lines that I have so far forgotten to mention. You can find those over at discord.lrn.fm. And there's so much more than just call-in lines. There's a bunch of different chat rooms. And one of those is specifically for amplifiers. Those are people that donate to the show. There's other ones that discuss cryptocurrency, gaming, general discussion, memes. There's a not safe for work area, a toxic user area, and a bunch of other stuff that you may or may not enjoy over at discord.lrn.fm. Was there anything else to say about the absolute horrible thing that is the United States Postal Service?
It's not new news. I mean, we've been seeing losses out of the post office for what, decades?
Yeah.
It doesn't turn profits.
Right. I think the actual news would be if United States Postal Service breaks even. Not even like made money.
No, that deserves war has ended headlines. I mean, that's like the end of World War II. You should see headlines that big if that thing actually turned a profit. The nice thing is they don't have to worry about it. Every postal employee will always get their pension. They'll always get their health care because you will pay for it. That's the deal. They can talk about being a private company, but they're backed by you, the U.S. taxpayer.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
So let's talk about another government organization, the United States Supreme Court. They had a hearing on Wednesday. They've actually been having a lot of hearings recently because it's the time of year where they hear things. And this specific case, if it winds up going the way that NPR is projecting, it would actually be some good news. The Supreme Court on Wednesday, they say a majority of justices seemed ready to make it more difficult for states to confiscate cars, houses, and other property that is even tangentially used in the commission of a crime. It's a process legally known as civil asset forfeiture. And I want to pause here to correct the first sentence from NPR, where it's not that the property was used in the commission of a crime, but that it was connected to a crime.
It doesn't even have to be. Can it just be suspected?
Right. Suspected that it's connected to, not suspected that it is used to commit.
Oh, I get it. I just know that civil asset forfeiture is so vague that just the appearance of a large quantity of money in the trunk of your car is grounds enough for civil asset forfeiture in the government's eyes.
Right.
Because there's no way you would have came across that briefcase full of cash unless you were dealing drugs.
Right. And one of the cases, and I wish I could remember the names of the people involved, but it involved a couple and the mother of the man in the couple, that they were driving from Pennsylvania to, I think, New Mexico.
I'm not recalling
The mother had just sold her house. They were driving to New Mexico. Instead of putting all the money in a bank, they were driving across the country with the money in the back of the car.
Yeah.
$210,000 in cash. They get stopped somewhere in the middle of the country, probably Oklahoma. And, well, you got all this money for? Just sold a house. Here's the bill of sale, officer.
Right.
That don't matter. We think this is drug money.
Yeah.
It's ours now.
Yeah.
And then because there was some kind of, technical snafu to where somebody filed the wrong piece of paper at the wrong time, the courts wound up saying, yeah, you don't actually have any legal recourse to even try to prove that this money was not connected to illegal activity. Therefore, the United States government, in the case of United States government v. $210,000 of cash,
right,
the money loses.
And the issue is you would think that it would be simply, I'm sorry, I come down to the courthouse and I explain what happened, and I show the bill of sale and all this stuff. And the first thing they're going to tell you is, well, you need to file to bring that case to court. We need to make sure you have standing. You have to file court fees. You have to submit briefs. You're really going to need a lawyer.
Right.
You're not going to walk into court without spending $10,000
right. And that's
to start out.
That's what happened in this case. They filed the papers, but the wrong family member filed the papers.
I remember this, yeah.
And the court wound up saying, yeah, sorry,
technicality in our favor. We're going to keep
this money.
Yeah.
The specifics of the case that the Supreme Court is hearing is about a man named Tyson Timms, whose $42,000 Land Rover was seized by the state of Indiana after he was arrested for selling a small amount of heroin to an undercover officer for $400. The trial judge ruled that taking the SUV was a grossly disproportionate punishment on top of other fines and a year of house detention. An Indiana appeals court agreed, but the state Supreme Court ruled that the Constitution's ban on excessive fines, unlike nearly all other provisions of the Bill of Rights, has never been applied to the states. On Wednesday, Indiana Solicitor General Thomas Fisher defended that proposition in the U.S. Supreme Court, facing a chorus of skepticism from justices, conservative and liberal. Neil Gorsuch led off questioning Fisher. Whatever the scope of the excessive fine clause, he said, can we at least agree it applies to the states? Fisher said, not when the fine is levied against property, as it was here. Gorsuch shot back, really? Come on, General. Stephen Breyer hypothesized about the limits of Fisher's arguments. Could the state, he asked, seize a Bugatti, Mercedes, or a special Ferrari, or even a jalopy if the driver was speeding 5 miles an hour over the limit? Fisher, pain-looking on his face, replied, the answer is yes.
Unreal.
The answer is yes. You're going 5 miles over the limit. That is technically illegal. That is a crime. Your car was used in the commission of a crime. We can seize anything used in the commission of a crime or even tangentially related to the commission of a crime or a suspected crime.
Right.
Your car now belongs to us.
Yep. And I can't wait to drive it.
And that milkshake sitting in the thing, I drink your milkshake, sir.
And this is this one just blows me away because there is nothing more repugnant in my mind to the Constitution than civil asset forfeiture.
Right. And
it's
a lot of
even,
people...
It's not even hiding theft. It's just stealing.
A lot of people confuse civil and criminal forfeiture.
Right. Big difference.
Criminal forfeiture means that you have been found guilty in a court of law for violating something.
Yeah.
And then they take stuff that was used in the commission of the crime. Civil forfeiture, we think that you may have done something illegal and you may have used this to do it.
Right.
Or you bought this with the proceeds.
Unbelievable.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450 free.
Complement your health with hemp-derived cannabinoid oil. We've always believed that the closer to Earth, the better it is for our bodies. Our hemp-derived cannabinoid oil is phytocannabinoid rich, full spectrum, and organically grown. Finally, hemp made easy, clean, and effective. GCNhemp.com or call 877-878-4203. That's right, we cut through the red tape. It's now available at GCNhemp.com or call 877-878-4203.
Hi, this is Dr. Joel Wallach, the Mineral Doctor. You've heard me talk about 90 for Life for years. 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, 2 fatty acids. You may not know this, that I've actually designed Arthrodex for animals. That's right. Your pets need 90 for Life too. Get this essential pet product by calling 877-279-9422. That's 877-279-9422. Again, 877-279-9422.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadati.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
A congressman recently revealed that legislation totaling 2,900 pages and involving more than $1 trillion was available to members of Congress for less than 48 hours to study and consider. That's over 60 pages of legislation per hour. Do you think anyone read the entire bill? I'm Jim Babka with downsizedc.org. Consider a proposal buried in a 3,200-page, $388 billion bill, which would have empowered committee chairmen or their agents to examine Americans' tax returns. When this horrible provision came to light, no one claimed to know how it got into the bill. One congressman questioned said, "I didn't write it, I didn't approve it, I wasn't even consulted." If your attorney represented you this way, he might be disbarred. But this is how Congress represents you every day. That's why downsizedc.org has created the Read the Bills Act. You can force Congress to read their bills before they pass them at downsizedc.org.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We'll get to the phones here in just a second. In studio tonight, it's Darryl.
And Chris.
And when do you want to spot the burglar? When he's casing your house or after he's already in it? Ask John, whose Blink camera alerted him of burglars trying to break in while his family was home. Or Shannon, whose Blink cameras caught a thief stealing packages. Blink motion-activated cameras are wire-free. They set up in minutes and they run on 2 AA batteries that last up to 2 years. Blink cameras make a great holiday gift. So visit blinkprotect.com/holiday. That's blinkprotect.com/holiday. Blink is an Amazon company. Let's go to, and we will get back into this article from NPR about the Supreme Court hearing earlier in the week, would have been yesterday when they heard this case about civil asset forfeiture. But first, let's go to Gene, the Christian anarchist, calling in on the Discord line. Gene, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Yeah, I have a sad story today about someone we know as a nurse who works. She has to drive around and go to patients' homes, and today she was killed by police pursuing a suspect at high speed.
Jeez.
Killed instantly because the police decided to chase somebody for who knows what little minor infraction they decided to go after him for. And it's so I don't know. I can't use the language I would like to use, but it is so stupid that our police, and I'll call them the goons because that's what they are, they continue to chase people and put everybody at risk due to minor infractions. These people they're chasing, they're not murderers and all that stuff. They're doing some
generally not
deal. Most likely a drug dealer or something of that nature, and they decide to chase after them. And it's been proven that the more you chase them, the worse things get. And places where they have banned these high-speed chases have wound up in a lot of lives saved. And it's time that the Americans get upset about this kind of behavior because it's costing too many lives. And it doesn't accomplish much of anything.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and it depends on this. It depends. I mean, there are certain examples to save lives, plural. Maybe a high-speed pursuit is justified. I get that. But because you've got lights on your vehicle and you can make it where you need to go really fast by turning them on, or like you're describing, just for the heck of it because somebody booked and you don't have any suspicion that they did anything beyond just driving fast away from you when you hit your lights to pull them over, that doesn't justify putting the public at risk. And I know from my limited experience in municipal government that it's one of those things that you should have a policy on. You know what I mean? And we went through this. I mean, if you clearly spell out to officers, these are the very few circumstances when you're authorized to exceed speed limits within, the municipality. In my case, that's what you're limited to. Else, refer to state police.
Well, that would be fine, but I mean, here we've got a mother whose children now have to grow up without her, and this happened. And if you did have a policy in place that says only pursue in cases of X, Y, and Z,
right,
and then the police decide to pursue when it wasn't X, Y, and Z, they don't get punished. They don't ever really have to deal with any severe punishment because they always fall back on the fact that there's some kind of a god and we're supposed to be worshiping these gods in blue.
Oh, they have qualified immunity.
They've got all kinds of immunities, and it wasn't that long ago that the Supreme Court, U.S. Supreme Court, wound up ruling, and I forget the exact phrasing, but it was something to the effect of, as long as they act in good faith, it doesn't matter whether the police officer actually knows the law or not.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of, there's many things. I can give a big long list of things I don't like about China. One of the things I do like about China is they have a policy. They just don't do high-speed chases because it kills too many people.
Oh, and they
won't do them.
They got cameras everywhere too. They've looking.
Too. Have you not driven down the highways lately? I mean, there are cameras everywhere.
Well, not in New Hampshire. That's one of the things that we can say is we don't have those sort of traffic cameras or things to do like that. But I'd rather, no, I wouldn't. I'm not going to go down that path and say that, no, I choose to give up a little bit of my liberty for a little bit of safety, because that's what that sort of begs. But, It's a horrible shame when someone gets killed, particularly if they were innocent, they were struck by a police officer who may or may not have been following, their department's policy.
Actually,
I just don't know anything about this. That's the issue we're having.
Struck by the guy they were chasing, because the police officer's got his lights on and everything, so you can see the police car. You can't see the guy that they're chasing.
Right.
The guy that they're chasing is typically the one that runs into somebody because he's zipping through red lights and everything else trying to get away from this guy. But he doesn't have red lights on. He doesn't have a siren.
Right.
He's the one that runs into somebody.
Right. Barreling through an intersection.
Yeah, and I found some information from actually about 3 years ago where, there's unfortunately no requirement that local police officers or departments give any sort of statistics to the feds. So finding accurate statistics on high-speed chases and the resulting fatalities is very difficult. But the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration tried to come up with some numbers, and they found that over a 32-year period going back to 1982, there were 10,642 people who had been killed, and of those, nearly 1/3 of all deaths resulting from high-speed police chases were bystanders.
Yeah.
1/3.
I know one statistic today, and that's the number one, and that's the person who was killed.
Yeah, it just, and oh God.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
Sad.
And she was on her way to a home to visit a patient when this happened.
Very, very sad. Gene, let us know if there's anything that we can do, if there's a GoFundMe for her family. Hopefully, there's something that we can do here. Anything else to add?
No.
All right. Thank you, Gene, for the call. Let's go to Sarah calling in from New Mexico. Sarah, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Yes, I wish that if I could have it my way, I would like to ban all soda pop commercials in the United States.
I'm with you. Those soda pop commercials drive me nuts. They do. They make me want to drink soda.
Well, the thing is, I was always, that London, they're going to ban junk food commercials on the buses.
Good. No more junk food either.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's what it is they're pushing and they're shoving all this pop and junk food and candies in people's faces.
Hold on. Sarah, you're talking about advertising, and now you're saying that the advertising is the same as them, like, physically walking up and just cramming a Mars bar down your throat?
Metaphorically, Darryl, don't be so literal. Come on.
No, she's equating that it's the same thing. Sarah, thank you for the call. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
There are basically two types of advertising: direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
This is George Norrie from Coast to Coast AM and History Channel's Ancient Aliens. We support the amazing energy, nutrition, and skincare products from Jeunesse. Jeunesse products are designed by leading doctors in their field with natural ingredients and even stem cell technology. These products help your body perform and look better. Shop Jeunesse at gcnlife.com or call 1-844-443-6637. gcnlife.com or 844-443-6637.
Want revenge on the common housefly? Well, after 10,000 years, someone has finally come up with a better way. The Bug Assault, a miniaturized shotgun, which utilizes ordinary table salt as ammunition. Non-toxic and no batteries required. So much fun, you'll forget you have a wife and kids. Makes the perfect stocking stuffer. Get your Bug Assault today and save $10 on the Bug Beam Laser Combo, only at bugassault.com.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
Now you can follow LRN.FM on the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Your calls and thoughts welcome about whatever is on your mind. We still need to get back into this article from NPR about the Supreme Court hearing from Wednesday on civil asset forfeiture. But before we do that, let's go to the Discord line where we've got Stefan calling in from Ohio. Stefan, you're on Free Talk Live with Darryl and Chris. Go ahead with your thoughts.
I'd like to make just a very quick comment on those soda commercials.
Certainly, go ahead.
There is one that sticks with me forever and I think absolutely should be banned and scrubbed for the internet. Have you ever heard of a cola called RC100?
No. I've heard of RC Cola. I have never heard of RC100. Mark Edge is eating a sandwich in studio, and he was raising his hand. Hopefully his mouth isn't full now.
I can sing the jingle.
Please don't.
No caffeine.
RC100's got nothing. No sugar and no caffeine.
I don't want to wind up
taste.
getting some kind of intellectual property infringement by people poorly singing a jingle
I'm pretty sure this
that I've never
over.
heard.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure this one's out of copyright or whatever by now. They haven't made this call in decades, but I just wanted to share. We can scrub that one from the internet, hopefully, because that one gets annoying. But I don't see how. I've never seen a commercial for soda in my entire life, so I don't know what she was talking about. Have you ever seen a commercial for soda?
There's the Fanta commercials. No, don't you wanna Fanta? Don't you wanna
Coke
Fanta?
and Pepsi are always the two biggest.
There's the polar
Super
bear
Bowls,
and the penguin, and that's just flat out lies because they live in different poles. Coca-Cola is spreading misinformation and propaganda.
Fake news.
Darryl is being pedantic with soda commercials now.
Yes, yes, I am, because it's lies.
Well, they are hugging the bear, which in and of itself a bad idea. Like polar bears are the most vicious of bears.
Yeah.
Not bears generally not known for their hugginess.
Oh, they're cute and cuddly.
Right.
Yeah,
It's imaginary.
Yeah. But polar bears are the only bears that see humans as food, so I wouldn't try that.
Yeah, I understand where she's coming from and her point of view that I completely disagree with. And if you don't like it, turn it off.
But my point of view is that
how do you turn off the bus and the subway? Because that's what she's actually calling. She's been calling it on the same thing for a week now.
Look the other way.
Where she's upset, or actually no, she's happy that the city of Albuquerque is prohibiting future advertisements of like sugary foods and beverages from the buses. And, well, since they're run by the city, I don't see how the city can legally justify doing that.
Yeah,
Do you think the city's in bed with Big Soda, maybe?
That's probably what it is.
No, they're out of bed with Big Soda. As far as I'm concerned, if an organization doesn't want to have a particular type of advertiser, great. That leaves more advertisers for Free Talk Live.
Right.
However, this is just a testimony that advertising works. We don't want cigarettes and soda pops and, chewing tobacco and all these things advertising because, well, advertising works.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I will add one quick thing on that, and then I'll hop off here. The thing with advertising is I used to be of the opinion that, oh, no, I see all these commercials and they annoy me. And it wasn't until a few months ago where I noticed I had Magic Mud and a bunch of supplements that Free Talk Live has advertised that I realized it works, because it gets in your head so much that when you run into a situation, you think, well, I've heard of this, I might as well go for it.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
I've bought a lot of products because of advertising, and it's my choice. It's not like if I see something, okay, maybe it's really, really, really good advertising. It prompts me. That's what advertising is supposed to do. But
here's a really good deal. Get a 6-pack of running compression socks from Groupon for $5.
Yeah, and that's if you're in the market for running compression socks. You couldn't sell me that. However,
right.
One of the reasons that people buy, say, My Magic Mud is because they hear an endorsement from somebody they trust that says that they think it's great.
Right.
By the way, I used it last night. Think it's great. Think My Magic Mud is just awesome.
Right.
And they're not paying for that ad. But I will be calling them tomorrow, giving them the audio from this.
Right.
Yeah, there's all different kinds of advertising. You had mentioned jingles earlier. I was able to sing the jingle of a defunct soda from 35, 40 years ago.
Right.
And that just shows the power of a good jingle.
Right.
And then there's also not just a good jingle, but good use of a song. Every time I hear Sitting on the Dock of the Bay, I think of that damn root beer.
Which one is it?
And I don't even drink root beer.
I remember Hires, great taste, delicious, creamy, great taste.
No,
that's just as plain as the foam on your face.
There was one of the root beers, I think it was Barks or might have been A&W back in the 80s. Their commercial played this Sitting on the Dock of the Bay song.
I don't think Barks was existed in the 80s.
I think it's weird. I think I watched a show on TV once that was describing how things like jingles and slogans, stick with you. And they had this, they had these women that would say their names, and they would say, "How many of these can you remember?" But then they had them sing all of their names in a very catchy way.
Right.
And you get onto it. It's like 15 years after I last saw this commercial, but I can still remember like the Sunny D, exactly what was in the fridge, cola, orange, OJ, purple stuff. You know?
And
funny.
Mark, you are correct. It was Hires root beer in 1987 that used the Sitting on the Dock of the Bay in their commercial.
They abandoned their previous.
I just remembered it was a root beer.
Yeah.
I don't drink root beer.
I don't know that Hires even exists anymore, mind you.
Probably doesn't.
Again, I have just sang the jingle of a defunct soda that's been gone for God knows how long.
I've got nothing left to add. So thanks, guys.
Appreciate
Stephen,
the call, man.
Thank you for the call, your calls and thoughts. Welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Getting back into the NPR article about civil asset forfeiture.
I was just going to insert, before we get back to that, Hires Root Beer still exists.
Does it?
Owned by the Keurig Dr. Pepper Company.
Huh.
Hold on. Keurig and Dr. Pepper are owned by the same company now?
Yep.
Yeah, I thought Dr. Pepper was like a Coke product or something.
There you go.
No,
Shows what I know.
Dr. Pepper is in some places distributed by Coke and other places distributed by the Pepsi distributors, but Dr. Pepper is its own separate company.
I see.
Yep.
That used to be one of my favorites back when I drank caffeinated beverages.
Okay, Darryl. Now with your actual important story that we've been trying to discuss.
Advertising brings the world together, okay?
Doesn't it?
Right. People of different...
I'd like to buy the world a Coke.
Right. People remember the ads. They remember, their life at about the time they were hearing the ads. It's, these old ads, people like to talk about them.
Yeah. I wonder if we could buy the Supreme Court a Coke and have them make the right decision here, or would that be considered bribery?
Probably.
Again, the court case that we're talking about was heard yesterday, and it involves civil asset forfeiture, not criminal asset forfeiture, civil, meaning that the stuff has been seized before anyone has been, in some cases, even charged with the commission of a crime.
Yep.
But civil does not even require the conviction. And again, in some cases, there's not even a charge. The specifics here, Tyson Timms had his $42,000 Land Rover seized by the state of Indiana after he was arrested for selling a small amount of heroin to an undercover police officer. The Solicitor General for the state of Indiana told the court, or rather, he was asked a question of whether or not a state could, quote, seize a Bugatti, Mercedes, or even a Ferrari or a jalopy if the driver was speeding 5 miles an hour over the limit. He responded, the answer is yes. Arguing the contrary position was Wesley Hotot of the Institute for Justice, who was representing Timms.
Good old IJ, man.
Chief Justice John Roberts offered the most aggressive questioning, observing that there is a well-established distinction between fining someone $500,000 and confiscating assets that were allegedly used in a crime. Hotot replied that confiscating property is a very different animal today than it was 100 years ago when pirate ships were the object of civil forfeiture. In contrast, he said, today police can go after every person's property, even in cases where the owner of the property is blameless and has not been charged.
Right. So somebody's selling marijuana out of the rental unit that you own.
Yep.
And this has happened.
Yeah.
And IJ fought him, by the way. God bless those people at IJ.
I'm still waiting on the cops somewhere to go seize a McDonald's because drug deals happen in McDonald's parking lots every day.
They do.
There's more to this, plus your calls and thoughts. 855-450 free. That's 855-450-3733. Plus, we've got the call-in lines over at the Discord, discord.lrn.fm.
Trading involves financial risk. It is not suitable for all investors.
Marijuana has unleashed a green gold rush across our nation. It's creating $10.8 billion in new wealth a year. And every day, it's transforming more and more Americans into millionaires. Former Speaker of the House John Boehner reveals how you could become one of them. Join him online for the American Cannabis Summit. Attendance is 100% free, but space is limited. Join online at www.acs2018.com. John Boehner and an esteemed panel will reveal which cannabis stocks are primed to deliver life-changing windfalls. Plus, they will show you how to become a cannabis angel investor, backing the hottest startups before they potentially become worth billions of dollars.
To join the American Cannabis Summit, visit acs2018.com or text JOIN to 76280. Don't miss this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Text JOIN to 76280. Text JOIN to 76280 now.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Thursday, November 29th, 2018. Silver is trading at $14.34 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,226 per ounce. Zen is trading at $7, and the average price of Bitcoin is $4,300. Antiwar.com reports in a 63-37 vote on Wednesday, the U.S. Senate agreed to a full floor debate of a bill challenging the legality of the U.S. involvement in the Yemen war. The legal challenge is built around Congress having never authorized the U.S. to join such a war. Wednesday's pre-vote effort saw Secretaries of State and Defense Mike Pompeo and James Mattis taking senators to a closed-door classified briefing that was aimed to cover both the Yemen war and mounting concerns about U.S. relationship with Saudi Arabia. All indications are that the briefings failed, with Senator Chris Coons coming out of the briefing saying he was now opposed to the war. Senator Bob Menendez, a former supporter of the war, had also changed sides, as had several others. Senator Jack Reed has also said he supports the bill to end the war. This mounting Senate support suggests the bill itself is very likely to pass, although it may ultimately stall in the House of Representatives, where a recent effort at a War Powers Act challenge to the war was derailed in favor of a wolf hunting measure. In 1999, Darryl W. Perry began a search for traditional values, which led him down a path to the ideas of liberty. He tells the story in A Rebel's Journey, My Path to Liberty. Of the book, Dr. Brian Sovereign says, "Sometimes it's funny, and sometimes I think it's crazy, but it's always authentic." Find A Rebel's Journey, My Path to Liberty by Darryl W. Perry on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, ask for A Rebel's Journey wherever books are sold, or visit arebelsjourney.com. UPI reports White House advisor Ivanka Trump says her use of a private email account for official business is much different than that of former diplomat Hillary Clinton. Trump was scrutinized last week after a watchdog cited use of her private account while serving as a presidential aide. The group said she'd corresponded with Trump cabinet officials, including Education Secretary Betsy DeVos, Small Business Administration Chief Linda McMahon, and Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross, using her private email account. Ivanka Trump told ABC News, "All of my emails are stored and preserved. There were no deletions, there is no attempt to hide, there's no equivalency to what my father's spoken about." Ivanka added, "There's no restriction of using personal email. In fact, we're instructed that if we receive an email to our personal account that we could relate to government work, you simply forward it to your government account so it can be archived." Zencash is now Horizon. Horizon is a privacy platform built on zero-knowledge technology with a decentralized secure node architecture. The Horizon platform enables real-life uses beyond currency, including the ability to privately chat with other people. Soon, Horizon will enable you to publish information and go anywhere on the web, all with complete privacy. Horizon, bringing privacy to life. Learn more at horizon.global. HORIZEN.global. Reuters reports a Hawaii man who had a heart attack after a false alert about an incoming ballistic missile flashed on cell phones in January has sued the state, accusing it of negligence in the incident that panicked thousands of people. James Sean Shields was driving to the beach with his girlfriend on the morning of Saturday, January 13th, when the state flashed out alerts to cell phones across the island stating, "Ballistic missile threat inbound to Hawaii, seek immediate shelter, this is not a drill." The message came at a time of rising tensions between the U.S. and North Korea, which had claimed it had developed a ballistic missile that could reach the U.S. mainland. The message sent thousands of island residents into a panic search for shelter before the Hawaii Emergency Management Agency recalled the message half an hour later, saying it had been sent in error. Shields and his girlfriend filed the lawsuit in the state's First Circuit Court on Tuesday. The lawsuit states in part, they decided there was not much they could do to protect themselves from this threat and decided if they were going to die, they might as well die together on the beach. The lawsuit seeks unspecified financial damages. Soon after phone calls to say goodbye to his loved ones, including his son and daughter on the U.S. mainland, Shields felt pain and a burning in his chest. The couple rushed to a hospital where Shields' heart stopped soon after arrival and faltered again after cardiopulmonary resuscitation. He underwent emergency surgery to save his life. The state's attorney general did not respond to a request for comment about the lawsuit. An investigation found the employee who had sent the alert had mistaken an alert drill for an actual attack. That employee was later fired. You can support FPP Radio by joining the Fans program. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
NASA's recent discovery of water on Mercury has led to speculation among scientists that the planet could potentially sustain an intergalactic space prison housing the universe's worst criminals. Scientists believe that organic compounds found on the planet's surface could be useful for creating an off-world space Australia, where strength is the only law. However, they caution it is too early to say whether or not fights among the space jail's prisoners would be broadcast here on Earth for the entertainment of wealthy gamblers. But NASA's lead researchers do say that Mercury's ability to support human life raises important questions about who the prison guards would be.
Perhaps the guards themselves would be space mercenaries, or maybe we'd just use robots.
The robots would have guns for hands.
Well, obviously.
Critics inside NASA caution against funneling too many resources into the Mercury project when it would be so much cooler to build a prison on the moon ruled by clones of the prisoners themselves. Researchers encourage the public to read their findings, which have been released in the form of a graphic novel titled The Mercury Cipher.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. As we kick off hour number 3, you are free to call in and talk live with us and bring up whatever is on your mind. The us in studio tonight is Darryl.
And Chris.
And more from the NPR piece about the Supreme Court hearing on civil asset forfeiture. Again, the NPR headline here says Supreme Court appears ready to make it harder for states to confiscate property. Again, this through the use of civil asset forfeiture, not criminal asset forfeiture. And I'm reminded, before we get back into the article, I'm reminded of a bill from a couple of years ago in the New Hampshire legislature that would have prohibited civil asset forfeiture in all cases.
Yeah, so lots of states have done things like that. There's a number of anti-civil asset forfeiture laws, but I still hear about cases coming out of those states.
Right, because what they're doing is they're going through the federal, and I forget what the term is when you hand something over to the feds, but it's basically federal adoption.
Right.
But there's another term for it, to where the feds will say, oh, yeah, we'll put this under our jurisdiction.
Right. And in return,
you get to keep 80%.
Yeah, equitable sharing.
That's the term.
Yes.
Equitable sharing.
Yeah, and
but again, it's essentially federal adoption of the case to where it's then handled under the federal process instead of the state process. And even with the states that allow for civil asset forfeiture, the local police generally want to go through the federal adoption because they get a higher percentage.
Right. And I guess the question here is, well, what could we possibly do about it? Here's how ingrained this is. You would have to have some legislation in every state, ideally, to outlaw the practice at the state level. And then you would have to get the Department of Justice to repeal every law, get Congress to repeal every law that allows it at the federal level.
You don't necessarily need to go through the federal level.
Why not?
Get it done at the state level, saying that you cannot cooperate with the feds in civil asset forfeiture.
Yeah, that may do it.
And then that saves a step because you know that Congress is never going to wind up passing anything.
Right, but you're still going to have every Fed who makes a federal bust do civil asset forfeiture. So you're okay with leaving in place all of ICE and Border Patrol and that's the whole thing. If you want to nip this in the bud, I will go back to my original statement, which is this is the most egregious violation of the Constitution that is just widely spread. And I do not, for the life of me, understand how people are not just up in arms about this. Right. Probably because they don't hear about it.
And they get confused. So going back to this hearing where the police were testifying against the bill, saying three things simultaneously. We don't do this. If you pass this bill, we'll lose a lot of money.
Right.
And we need it because of drug dealers.
Yes.
Wait a second. Do you do this, or are you going to lose money if we pass the bill? Because those are different things. And these drug dealers that you keep bringing up, of we have to be able to take the house and the car from the drug dealer, that's criminal forfeiture, not civil. Stop confusing people.
Right.
Back to the article, Justice Samuel Alito pointed out in this case, again involving Indiana man Tyson Timms, whose $42,000 Land Rover was seized after he took part in a undercover drug deal where he didn't know he was selling some drugs to an undercover agent. Timms had been convicted of a crime. That's correct, Hotot replied, Hotot being his lawyer from the Institute for Justice, noting that the trial judge in the case sentenced Timms at the low end of the scale and ruled against the state's attempt to confiscate the truck, saying it was disproportionate.
Right.
Several justices wanted Hotot to clarify whether he was asking the court to adopt a proportionality rule. He said, not at this stage. All we're asking is that the court overrule the Indiana Supreme Court and declare that the Constitution's ban on excessive fines applies to the states, not just to the federal government. That, he said, would give the lower courts the opportunity to work out what standards to apply. Roberts opined that may be like asking the court to buy a pig in the poke. You say, don't worry what it means, just incorporate it to apply to the states, and then figure it out later.
Man, that just sort of sums up government.
Yeah.
So we're just going to do this. We're just going to declare that everybody gets free health care, and we'll figure out what that means later on.
Right. So a lot of people, and I don't often wind up, going to bat for politicians, but a lot of people like to give Nancy Pelosi a hard time when she said, we have to pass it to find out what is in it.
Yes, I was one of those people.
I tried to read the bill, and there was no way that after reading any section that you would actually know what was going to happen, because everything wound up either being prefaced or appended by saying, as directed by the Secretary of Health and Human Services.
Right.
So basically, we're passing something to authorize a bureaucrat to write a bunch of rules and regulations. Of course you have to pass it to find out what's going to happen, because nothing's been written yet. Well, maybe something's been written and given to the secretary of, here's what you'll wind up saying after they wind up passing it, but it's not actually in the statute that's getting passed.
You know what I can't find in the Constitution? I keep digging through it. Maybe I'm missing it. Bureaucracy. Where is that? Where is that part that says that unelected officials can make up whatever rules they want if they've been given magical powers by Congress?
Probably right next to the War Powers Act, saying that the president can bomb whoever he wants to without going to Congress.
Right.
And the part that says that you can't grow food on your own property because that interferes with interstate commerce.
I don't care if you're right, left, right, libertarian, Democrat, Republican, green. This stuff should appall you. It should turn your stomach. And this isn't about rich and poor. This isn't about anything else. This is about a country that no longer resembles in any way, shape, or form the rules that were laid out for it to follow at all. It's just not there. This applies to almost everything in our life. Virtually everything in our life is regulated somehow by bureaucracies, not by our representatives.
Yeah.
The system does not work. It is not working.
That's one of the reasons that I support what Downsize DC is trying to do.
Right.
One of the things that they have is the Write the Laws Act that would require that Congress actually write everything that's going to have the force of law. But they also have the Read the Bills Act that would require Congress to actually read all legislation before they voted on it.
God, you're talking
they also
crazy
support
talk.
the One Subject at a Time Act that would require every piece of legislation to deal with only one thing. That way you're not going to have protect our ports from overseas gambling legislation. And if you think that I'm making that up,
right?
Back in, I think it was 2006, there was a port security bill where a prohibition on offshore gambling using U.S. bank accounts was just tacked on as a rider at the last minute.
That's nothing. I mean, Darryl, when we do our every few years, there's what's the omnibus for defense spending?
Oh, the NDAA. Every year. It's every year.
Every year they have to reassign or reauthorize this thing.
Yeah, because the Constitution, going back to that fictional document that you reference, it says that no appropriation for the military shall be for more than 2 years. So they pass this thing every year so that it's technically not a standing army.
Right. And it just goes on and on and on. And if you think it's just the left or the right who's causing all your problems, wrong. The system has a systemic problem.
Yes. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
She's such a beautiful little puppy. I mean, we walk around the block and neighbors always say, her hair is so beautiful.
Healthy and shiny and glossy. DINOVITE.com.
Fatty acids, omega-3s, and omega-6s are great for healthy skin and soft, shiny coats.
I would really recommend people starting their puppies on Dynavite before they get into what I would call the misery index. Bad skin, bad ears, bad breath.
Because if they're getting all their vitamins, micronutrients, microbials from the beginning, then you're not going to run into the problems associated with the allergies, grass, pollen, dust, dirt, fleas, ticks, you name it, and the itching and shedding down the road.
Our vitamins and enzymes replace the nutrients cooked out of most commercial dog foods.
Dynavite for life.
This is Ed Lukasevic.
And Cindy Lukasevic.
Inviting you and your pets to Dynavite.
859-428-1000. DINOVITE.com.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it is now easier than ever to get the gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com, pick the gift card you want, follow the instructions on your screen, and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project early movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. There's more about civil asset forfeiture that we'll get into in just a moment. But first, want to make sure that you know about the latest partnership that Bitcoin.com has entered into, this time with the gift card specialist at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it's now easier than ever to get the gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash, BCH. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com. Pick the gift card you want. Be sure to check that the gift card you purchase is available in your country. Follow the instructions on screen and make your payments using Bitcoin Cash. Sit tight and the card will be delivered to you. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com. Again, hundreds to choose from, including name brands like Applebee's, Domino's, Home Depot, Uber, Hotels.com, Nike, and many, many more. Giftcards.bitcoin.com. So a little bit more from the NPR article here about the Supreme Court hearing just a couple of days ago about civil asset forfeiture. And Chris, you actually pulled up a list of some of the more egregious cases of civil asset forfeiture that we can probably get into. Again, the specifics of this case before the U.S. Supreme Court. And I'm probably one of the few people that likes to know what are the specifics of a case before the court, because everybody else, they'll talk about like, here's the broad ramifications. Well, what was the specific thing that the court was hearing?
Yeah. No, I agree with that, Darryl.
And in this case, there was an Indiana man, Tyson Timms, who had taken part in an undercover bust of selling some drugs, in this case specifically heroin. And after he made that sale, his $42,000 Land Rover was seized by police. And he said on Wednesday that he wasn't sure what his SUV would be worth today, even if he did get it back. But not having a car has been a problem for him and his aunt, who he lives with in the town of Marion, Indiana. He now is clean and has a job as a machinist about 35 miles away. He's only able to get to work because his aunt lets him use his car. He says, "I've been lucky. Most people don't have an Aunt Wendy. She's on dialysis 3 days a week, and because I have to use her car to get to work so we can pay bills, she has to take the bus to get to and from dialysis."
Unreal. Yeah. A couple things at this other article, and the article is on the same thing. USA's headline reads forfeiture, forfeit a $42,000 Land Rover for a minor drug offense. Supreme Court appears skeptical of state punishments.
But before you get into that, I just want to reiterate one thing that the Solicitor General for the state of Indiana said when asked the question by Justice Stephen Breyer about the limits of civil asset forfeiture. Could the state seize a Bugatti, a Mercedes, or a special Ferrari, or even a jalopy if the driver was speeding 5 miles an hour over the limit? The Solicitor General said the answer is yes. So if you think that they're only using this, or that they could only ever use this against those big, bad, mean, really, really bad criminals, no. you jaywalked and then got in your car,
right?
They could seize stuff from you. You were driving 5 miles over the speed limit. They could seize your car because the car was directly used in the commission of a crime. You ran a red light, seize the car. There's the book, 3 Felonies a Day.
Right.
Let's say that you wind up, and let's go over to Crime a Day on Twitter and just pick one of these random crimes. It's a federal offense to make a false statement in any manner within the jurisdiction of the federal government.
Does that apply to politicians?
Probably not. It's a federal crime to harass dusky gopher frogs wherever they may be found in the United States. So let's say that you're going out fishing, and while you're fishing, you come across some dusky gopher frogs, and you harass them. You then catch the fish, and you go down to the farmer's market and you sell the fish, and then you buy something.
Right.
With the money that you got from selling those fish, you now have purchased something with proceeds from criminal activity because you harassed some gopher frogs.
And you could lose your car because you said you had to go, you were fishing. I assume that you drove.
Yeah.
Right.
You used the car in the commission of a crime, your fishing pole, whatever you bought with the proceeds.
Well, they're not going to.
That could be seized.
They're not going to seize a fishing pole, Darryl. They're not going to seize something that's worth $10. They're going to seize.
They might not.
They're going to seize.
They could.
They could. But what's worse is they'll seize your car.
Yeah. There was a guy in Pennsylvania that had a bunch of bottles of wine seized because he had violated some goofy statute that, like, nobody had ever heard of before. And then there was the federal case of United States government v. I think it was like 416 bottles of wine.
Yeah. And here's some more examples of just ridiculous, grossly disproportionate seizures. Okay? A Georgia man was sentenced to pay $360 a month while on probation for stealing a $2 can of beer. $360 monthly, which means it went on for more than 1 month. Is that proportional?
No.
A Missouri couple racked up $180,000 in fines for lacking turf grass in their yard. They didn't have the right kind of grass. So is it proportional to fine them $180,000?
This was one of those hippie couples that had a garden, wasn't it?
Probably. A Michigan man who underpaid his 2011 property tax by $8.41 had his property auctioned off for $24,500. God knows what the actual property was worth. A Colorado man was fined $678 and racked up $1,680 more in collections fees for violating an open container law and driving without proof of insurance. A Florida homeowner who did not register a burglar alarm with the local government accrued $75 daily fines, resulting in a $115,625 lien on his property. Is that proportionate?
Hold on. I'm still baffled by this, and I know that you told me off the air that where we live, there's an ordinance that businesses are required. This was a guy that put one in his house.
Yeah, this is a homeowner. And what they do, what they'll use as the excuse is, well, you have to register us because we don't want to have lots of false alarms. We don't want the police called a lot, so we want to, know where all these burglar alarms are at. Well, yeah, you want to know the address so you can send them a bill. Sorry, that's what's going on.
Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
Silver has always been nature's very own antibiotic, and only one system allows you to produce an endless supply of nano-sized silver solutions right from the convenience of your home. Silver Lungs. With the addition of our unique lung delivery system, respiratory infections are targeted directly, where traditional oral administration simply cannot reach. This pioneering method also preserves the original particle sizes and delivers your silver solution directly into the bloodstream. See the Silver Lungs generator and lung delivery system at silverlungs.com. That's silverlungs.com.
We know you've had Dragon's Breath in the morning, but you've got to experience Dragon's Breath at night. Wolf Hill Ammo's Dragon's Breath, an incendiary shotgun round in 12 gauge, 20 gauge, and a 410 with an amazing muzzle flash and a fireball that launches up to 125 yards. Pure fun to shoot. At Wolf Hill Ammo, we love shotguns and offer the best specialty shotgun ammo on the market. Visit wolfhillammo.com to see our large selection of specialty shotgun ammo at great prices with flat rate shipping. wolfhillammo.com.
Are you a sneezer? If you're not, can you get close to one? I don't literally mean someone sneezing. Sneezer, as defined by marketing guru Seth Godin, is an opinion leader. When a sneezer mentions something, other people catch what Godin calls the idea virus. Seth Godin says some people are more likely to tell their friends about a great new idea. So identifying and courting sneezers is a key success factor for idea merchants. His book, Unleashing the Idea Virus, is the most downloaded ebook in history, and you can download the whole book free. That's how he's making his idea contagious. Click Tips, Tricks, and other stuff to help you cut through the clutter at www.survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live, the show where anyone can call about whatever they want. And we do mean anyone.
Now, you also said in another video that the moon is an iPod. Can you explain that one?
I believe the moon, the reason why it turns the color that it does is because it fills up with the humidity and water from the transmission of electrons or electricity. I believe that we're upside down being pulled by magnets right now. The actual ocean is in the sky, and they're reserving that sky. The reason we have thunder and lightning is because of the shock waves that go through the two skies up above. Otherwise, where's the thunder and lightning going to come? Because there's no way the clouds are that thick, or the planes wouldn't be able to go through it.
Have you ever been abducted by aliens?
No. Wait a second. Hold on a second. I think so. 45 minutes every single night.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM. You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. In studio tonight, it's Darryl.
And Chris.
And want to remind you that you can watch us if you want to. Not all the time. That would be just weird. But when we're live in the studio, you can do that on the twitch.lrn.fm. And it's not just Free Talk Live that is available on Twitch. There are other shows that happen in these studios. Those are available. Sometimes there are Twitch-only after shows. Those, as the name would imply, available on Twitch. And then sometimes people download from Twitch and then upload to Pornhub. They did that with the first one. That was kind of weird.
That is kind of weird.
But you can, again, watch us over at twitch.lrn.fm. And we've been talking about the criminal injustice system, specifically about this asset forfeiture case that is pending before the U.S. Supreme Court. And, well, I found a somewhat related case, not related to asset forfeiture, but related to the horrible criminal injustice system. This from Reason.com. A longer piece, so we probably will not be able to get through the entire thing, but I will post links on the social medias. And this is about 3 strike laws that are sending people to die in federal prisons. In 2014, the article begins, 26-year-old Tennessee resident Chris Young was sentenced to life in federal prison for a drug offense. The judge, in his case, had no choice but to send him to die behind bars under an obscure 3 strikes law for prior drug crimes after prosecutors filed what's known as an 851 notice. The filing, known for the section of U.S. Code from which it's derived, was originally intended to give prosecutors leeway to avoid some of the harshest mandatory minimums on the books. But as the drug war expanded, the threat of an 851 filing became a prosecutorial bullying tactic used to dissuade defendants from exercising their constitutional rights to a jury trial. It also tied the hands of judges, taking away any discretion they have over sentencing, and has sent hundreds of drug offenders to prison for life.
It's always disgusted me. I mean, you kind of get it. It's like, okay, this guy's obviously a career criminal, so he's committed 3 murders, or he's killed one person this way, he's killed another person, he raped a woman. It's not that.
No. These are people that, in most cases, probably had an amount of drugs that was deemed intent to distribute.
Right.
There's not even, necessarily the requirement that they were attempting to distribute.
Right.
It's just intent to distribute. Oh, you had it in small little bags.
Yeah.
Intent to distribute. Oh, you had a lot in one big bag. Intent to distribute.
Right. You had bags with various amounts in them. Obviously, intent to distribute.
Reason says Congress may take up reform soon, but only if tough on crime conservative senators and President Trump's new acting attorney general don't scuttle the legislation. Young has since become the poster child for criminal justice reforms that would limit the length of those sentencing enhancements. And one of the strongest supporters is Kevin Sharp, the judge who was forced to sentence him to death behind bars. Sharp dealt with a lot of drugs and gun cases as a U.S. District Court judge in Tennessee, and Chris Young's case was in many ways not unusual. Young was a peripheral figure in the bust of large drug rings, yet even though he was facing serious charges of cocaine trafficking, he rejected the plea deal that the federal prosecutors dangled in front of him. Prosecutors responded by filing an 851 against him using 2 prior low-level crack offenses that he'd been caught with when he was 18 and 19 years old. The combined weight of the drugs in his previous convictions amounted to 7.5 grams, roughly the weight of 3 pennies.
Wow.
In 2013, a jury found Young guilty of drug conspiracy and possession with intent to distribute more than 500 grams of cocaine, attempted possession with intent to sell within 1,000 feet of a school, and possession of a firearm in the furtherance of a drug crime. Because Young had at least 2 prior drug convictions, Sharp was bound by law to sentence the 26-year-old to life in federal prison.
So this house all sounds like stuff that you would have under a Republican, like, tough on crime president, right?
Yeah.
Wrong. So let's go through the history, at least with the states that have some sort of 3 strikes laws. The oldest one is a habitual felon statute, which New York has had since 1797. So that goes back a little while.
The Federalist,
right,
who became the Republicans, if you believe the Republicans.
Right. You had Maryland, which added a habitual felon
home
statute.
Of the gerrymander.
1975, home of Spiro Agnew during a lot of that, and very much a corrupt state. You had, and it's just sort of onesie-twosies. Texas had 3 strikes with mandatory life sentence since 1952. And here's when it really picks up.
California, 1980s?
1993 to 1995 is when we got the biggest jump. We added 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Counting
7,
on
8,
air.
9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20,
More
21,
counting
22,
on
23,
air.
24, 25. 26 states added 3 strikes or habitual.
Over half.
Yeah.
In a 3-year period.
Habitual sentencing for habitual criminals.
And for people thinking that I can't count because 93 and 95, that's two. No, you count each of those years. So
Yes.
93, 94, 95, it's a 3-year period.
My point being, this wasn't under the big bad guys of Ronald Reagan being tough on drugs, or even Gerald Ford, or even Bush the First. This was all under Bill Clinton. And Bill Clinton, a lot of people forget this, he had a lot of things that were not really very friendly to the Constitution, outside of things like trying to sneak in healthcare and things like that. It was when crime was really, really going up, and we saw this huge increase across the nation in violent crime, and the response was, one of the responses was these ideas of 3 strikes laws, or habitual offender laws. And
this Section 851 that applies at the federal level,
right,
according to Cornell, was passed in 1970.
Okay, been there for a long time, used at the federal level.
Right.
But you had this explosion in the states during the Clinton years.
Right.
And it's really bad. It super inflates the amount of people we have in prison. For those of you who do not know, that's one of the things that the United States still leads the world in.
Go back and look at the charts.
Yeah.
Of prison population, and you will see this just astronomical rise in the 1980s.
Yeah.
With the introduction of mandatory minimum sentences at the federal level.
Right.
And then again, there's this 3 strikes thing that passed in 1970. It's going to take people a little bit of time to wind up getting that 3rd strike.
Well, and it really took the states accepting this during the early Clinton years.
Continuing on here for Judge Sharp, Young's 2014 sentencing hearing was little more than judicial theater. He says the sentence that everybody knows is coming is certainly more harsh than is necessary, and I wish it was not that way. That, by the way, a quote from Sharp during the sentencing hearing,
right,
where his hands were tied, metaphorically speaking, and he was forced to put somebody in prison for life. More on this, plus your calls and thoughts, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733 here on Free Talk Live.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help. Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite. Pick up 2 bottles of Lico Chops, get the 3rd bottle free. New improved Lico Chops with omega-6, omega-3, vitamin E, and now 6 extra direct-fed microbials. Even better for the digestive tract and immune system. And dogs love it. Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free. This is Henry Lukasevic for Dynavite.
DINOVITE.com.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
Trading involves financial risk and is not suitable for all investors.
Marijuana has unleashed a green gold rush across our nation. It's creating $10.8 billion in new wealth a year. And every day, it's transforming more and more Americans into millionaires. Former Speaker of the House John Boehner reveals how you could become one of them. Join him online for the American Cannabis Summit. Attendance is 100% free, but space is limited. Join online at www.acs2018.com. John Boehner and an esteemed panel will reveal which cannabis stocks are primed to deliver life-changing windfalls. Plus, they will show you how to become a cannabis angel investor, backing the hottest startups before they potentially become worth billions of dollars.
To join the American Cannabis Summit, visit acs2018.com or text JOIN to 76280. Don't miss this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Text JOIN to 76280. Text JOIN to 76280 now.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. Possibly time for you and your thoughts if you call in now to 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Before we get back into the article here from Reason about the absolutely horrible thing that is the federal 3 strikes laws, I want to make sure that I thank Reasonable Voice, who is a silver amplifier. Reasonable Voice is one of several people that donates at least $5 per month to the AMP program. AMP stands for Advertise, Market, and Promote, and you can learn more about the AMP program over at amp.freetalklive.com. Again, Reasonable Voice, thank you for being an amplifier. Again, jumping back into the article from Reason about, they're talking about the entirety of the 3 strikes laws that wind up basically being misused and sending people to die in federal prison because, well, they had a couple of past convictions and they didn't want to take our plea deals, so we filed this 851 notice.
So you think they're misusing it that way? I think the whole thing just is, it is unconstitutional. I think so. I think it's a disproportionate levy against someone who has committed a crime. I think, your crime should stand. If you commit a crime that society believes should be life in prison, you murdered somebody in cold blood, first degree murder.
Yep.
You're going to jail for life. Okay, done deal. But this idea that you stole a car and then you sold some drugs and then you crossed a state line with,
raw milk.
3 strikes, you're going to jail for the rest of your life.
Right.
Is that proportionate? Of course not.
No. And, there's sadly no requirement that the punishment be proportioned to the crime, even though there is the, claim of, well, the punishment fits the crime. That's not a legal maxim that's written down anywhere.
No, but
that's just a thing that people say.
The last story, this whole story about the civil asset forfeiture has to deal with the idea of proportionality in sentencing.
Right.
And that is something we should be talking about.
Right. But again, there was a mention in this Reason piece about the specifics of why this particular person, Chris Young, had the 851 notice filed against him, and it's because he rejected the plea deal. To where prosecutors said, oh, you're not taking our plea deal?
Yeah.
All right, you're going to prison for the rest of your life.
Right.
So it is used. Whether or not it should even exist is a completely different question.
Right. I agree
It is
with you.
used to target people that don't want to take a plea deal.
Right.
And again, the outspoken critic of this isn't Chris Young, the 26-year-old that 4 years ago got sentenced to life in prison. No. The outspoken critic is the judge who handed down the sentence. Let that sink in for a second. Let that sink in. That the person who is criticizing the 3 strikes law is the judge that used it.
Yeah. That. How horrible is that? And this is an Eighth Amendment question. To me, it's all about the Eighth in this particular case. The text of the Eighth Amendment reads, excessive bail shall not be required, nor excessive fines imposed, nor cruel and unusual punishments inflicted. So when you're talking about that is proportionality. That's what that is saying, that you cannot require so much money that nobody could ever get out on bail.
Yep.
You cannot fine them so excessively that it's absurd.
Pay off the national debt.
Right.
You, Chris, have to pay off the national debt, otherwise you stay in prison the rest of your life.
Right, and tell me how committing 3... I'm going to go ahead and let's say it's 3 victimless felony crimes.
Which is what happened here with Mr. Young.
3 victimless crimes, no actual victim except for arguably society, which is how they phrase all these things, causes life in prison. You've lost freedom for the rest of your life until you die.
Well,
that is cruel and unusual.
The etymology of the word crime came from offense against the king.
Right.
So while I like the statement, no victim, no crime, it's not historically accurate.
No, but it's morally important. That's my point of view. I do not see that when, quote unquote, society is the victim, then that is worthy of punishment.
Right.
That's a personal thing.
Continuing on here, when Young had a chance to address the court, and I'm presuming this was after the judge handed down the sentence, where the judge said during the hearing, the sentence that everybody knows is coming is certainly more harsh than is necessary, and I wish it was not that way.
Right.
When Young had the chance to address the court, he launched into a long speech about what he'd been reading and learning over the past 4 years he'd spent in county jail while his case drug on. He referenced Greek philosophers and figures from early American history, such as the lesser-known signers of the Declaration of Independence. He talked about monetary policy, the leadership of the Federal Reserve, Adam Smith, John Maynard Keynes, and his heroes in the world of business and finance. He also talked about where he came from and how he grew up with a drug-addicted mother in a house where the electricity and water were often turned off. How as kids he reeked of the kerosene used to light his house and took showers at neighbors' places where he could swallow his pride. How when Young was 18, his older brother committed suicide and he found the body. Sharp recalls listening to this speech from behind the bench. I'm just listening to this thinking, oh my God, what are we doing? Sharp wasn't a bleeding heart. He believed that Young deserved hard times, 7 to 9 years, if the judge had his way. Young had also accumulated a long rap sheet during his teenage and young adult years, but to Sharp, the thought of condemning him to die in prison seemed insane.
Yes.
At one point, Sharp stopped to talk about books with Young and recommended some novels by British author C.P. Snow. He was trying to draw out the hearing. Quote, just so I don't have to say, and here the former judge's voice still catches on the words 4 years later, life. An estimated 400 federal inmates are like Young, currently sentenced to die in prison under 851 enhancements, according to the Buried Alive Project, an advocacy group that works to raise awareness of life sentences for drug offenses. Section 851 of the U.S. Code is applied in only a small chunk of the annual federal drug cases, but the shocking, dirty little secret of federal sentencing, as one judge put it, is an incredibly powerful tool that prosecutors use to coerce defendants into plea deals and hammer those who reject it.
Yep. Unreal. And I just, like I said, I don't know how everybody wants to be, and especially politicians. I'm tough on crime. You know?
Yeah.
I'm tough
That's why
on
in
crime.
states where, and there are pros and cons to electing judges, but there are statistics that show in states where judges are elected, harsher sentences are handed down in the year of the election.
I don't doubt that. Makes
because
sense.
Tough on crime.
I got to make it. I got to get in the papers.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's it. And, it's tough to think of felons and show a lot of sympathy. You know what I mean? It's not intuitive to most people. They're like, well, that's a bad person. Well, sometimes, but, sometimes these felonies all occurred when the kid, and I look at this as a parent, when they were 18 to 25 years old.
In this case,
you're a kid.
Yeah, 18 to 24.
Yeah.
The first drug offense, 18. Second drug offense, 19. In those two cases, he had a combined 7.5 grams of cocaine.
You know what kept me from having a felony conviction for drugs at age 18?
Having good friends that didn't let you do drugs?
Luck. It's pure and simple. That's the only thing that you could ever say. And a little bit of guile. I guess I got out of a couple things that could have got me busted for something like that. But, I at 18 years old, yeah, I probably had felony levels of drugs from time to time. And because of that could have been a strike. 2 more busts like that, jail for the rest of my life.
The decision by a federal prosecutor to file an 851 notice is no small thing. When an 851 notice is filed in a drug case, it makes an offender's third felony drug offense, state or federal, no matter how long ago the previous 2 offenses were, subject to mandatory life in prison without the possibility of parole. Tell me how that's fair. But you got to do it tomorrow because we're out of time for tonight. This is Free Talk Live.
Hi, I'm Derek J. To me, an activist's calling is to actively work to advance a cause. The cause for which I work is personal freedom. I believe my life is best when I engage in voluntary interactions and self-government.